What's going on, my PT peeps and Walking Dead family, my fighters? I'm One Eyebrow, also known as PT. Don't know if I'm winking or blinking, but I'm definitely thinking about the Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 21. Did you catch these things? Obviously, spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead. But we're going to break down some things that we saw in Season 10, Episode 21. Nice callbacks to previous episodes of the same season, but also previous seasons of The Walking Dead. And as always, if I missed anything, let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. And did you catch a possible connection to a comic? Maybe, maybe not. And if you love all things Walking Dead, make sure you hit the subscribe button today. Become a valued member of our PT channel, Walking Dead family. Well, right off the bat, we see Carol in Daryl's place. We see a red lantern there. Not going to read too much into that one. We know Carol is safe, but could she lose somebody close to her in season 11? Is it symbolic that she kind of lost Daryl? I don't know, but she picks up a book, and before that, you see a Man of Armor comic right there. Is that a connection to the Commonwealth, as they are men of armor? They're wearing armor, that's for sure. Or do you think it's a knockoff of Iron Man? Instead of Man of Armor, it's Iron Man? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. But Carol picks up the book and she smiles at it. And we saw that the title was The Golden Age of Piracy. So that to me has a couple of different things, right? I don't know if it's a real book or not. Please let me know in the comments. But I think of ultimately of the governor in season 4 when Megan asked him, is he a pirate? Are you a pirate? Because he kind of has that look, especially with the parrot on the pillow there. But just look at that look. He does look like a pirate. And for those who don't know, a subscriber gave you the nickname of One Eyebrow many years ago. But the Golden Age of Piracy connects with Carol being on the boat. And I believe she even says to Daryl, like, don't you want to be a pirate? And they mentioned the boat recently that she should have never got off the boat. And it's a nice callback to previous connections where Daryl and Carol were in a better place. Carol even talks about leaving. Should she leave? Should she stay? Should she not? Again, they talked about it in season 10, episode 18 about, yeah, I should never let you get off the boat. And maybe not. But Carol and Daryl are not in a good place. There's a lot of symbolism here. It's pretty obvious. The diverged paths, and that's the title of the episode, Diverged. Carol and Daryl don't really answer anything for each other. They don't talk about it and they just go away, and maybe they'll fix it in season 10, episode 22, but most likely season 11. But Carol is going to give back the Swiss Army knife, and some people are saying that the Swiss Army knife was Leah's and that she gave it to Daryl, but Daryl's over that now. I didn't see that at all. I just saw that Daryl is done with Carol right now for a little bit. Like, keep it. I'm good. I don't need to worry about it. You do your own thing. I'm going to do my own thing. Keep that. I gave that to you. I got my stuff now. And that's kind of what I took it as, because Carol and Daryl are together, apart, together, apart. And what I saw here is that Daryl wants to talk to Carol, but it's like high school. You make the move. No, you make the move. You talk. No, you talk. You say something. And it kind of reminded me of Daryl and Leah when they both wanted to make a move. This time romantically. I don't think it was romantic with Daryl and Carol, but with Leah it was. But it's hard to tell about the homes and the townhomes and the row homes and the separate homes, single family home in Alexandria. Was this Reg and Deanna's place? And was this where they did the interviews when they first got to Alexandria? I kind of think so, with the bookcases and the setup there, just the bookshelves. It just looks like the same place in the same building. I don't know. Is it? Do you think? And I know this episode was slow and nothing happened and there was rats and Daryl fixed his bike, but it was something that, we got to know a little bit more about these characters and the struggle. And I like both the characters, and, Dog was a big part of the episode, but we did see that it was his fuel line, I believe, is what people are saying. I'm not, a mechanic by any means, but I believe his fuel line is cracked and that's what he replaced. When Daryl kills this walker that's in a military outfit, is it connected with the Reapers? We're going to talk about that in a separate video, but I think it could be, right? Or maybe it was dumb luck. But either way, Daryl got a multi-tool, and he got 2 of them actually. So he's good to go on those. One should just stay with the bike, keep it right there. But he kills the one walker, does all that, and then another walker crawls right to him. And he's like, right, that's how it works. But this walker crawling right to him had a magazine. I don't know if there was any bullets or casings in it, but the big thing is that he finds MREs. Meals ready to eat, that have a super long shelf life. But this isn't the first time that we saw them. Takes me back to when Michonne and Rick fell through the roof and found all these ready-to-eat meals. I believe they called them there, but it's the same thing. Meals ready to eat meals. And that's a good thing because they're running low on food. And it definitely takes me back to the good old days when Michonne and Rick were back on the show and they ran into other dead military walkers or walkers that were military people. But Daryl finding food is good, obviously, but 2 pouches of MREs are not going to feed a lot of people. They'll just feed Daryl. And Carol was cooking and she talks about it when dog ruins the meal. We need that food. Alexandria is struggling right now. And, they're chopping up some mushrooms and I don't know what she's really doing here, but she's making a soup. Turns out the dog ruins it, so it doesn't really matter. But I assume that the Commonwealth is going to be the way that our group gets food because this food here, Alexandria is tore up. It's going to take a long time to replace the food. I mean, you can fish, but Carol's cooking away. And I got the feeling that they don't really have a lot of food for all these people. So what are they going to do? But also when she was cooking, she took some salt, threw it over her left shoulder. That's for luck, which turns out it was the worst day that we saw Carol have in a long time. So what's that about luck, right? Sometimes you make your own luck. Or has Carol's luck run out? Dun, dun, dun. But dog knocks over the lamp, and all I could think was like, I hate this lamp. Boom, I've been waiting to take this lamp out. But he breaks it. Carol picks it up, sees the wire. It's chewed up by the rats. And the rats were obviously a problem. And they would be in a zombie apocalypse, right? They would be all around. Maybe the dead and the whisperers brought him in. The rat droppings are there. And we see the lone rat later on in the episode. Dog's freaking out. He's like just getting something in the blanket. But then he randomly just runs over and bites this pelt, this animal skin, this animal fur. And you're like, what was that all about? But it makes me think of Dog and his original owner, right? Daryl has the ability to make these, I would assume, but Leah definitely did. We saw Leah wearing these. There's a fox, skin or pelt right there, I guess, right? But also on the wall is another one, right? That white thing, is that one of those? But it makes me think that Daryl might have learned it from Leah. Maybe Daryl knew all along how to do it, but Leah may have helped him. And it's a callback to that, especially when Dog bites it. That was Dog's original owner was Leah. So maybe that's a callback to Dog and Leah. And we obviously saw the rat, and the rat left on its own. Very symbolic of things. But it reminds me of the weevils in the kingdom, right? That was the only time we really saw animals or pests be a problem in a community. The symbolism of the rat leaving and Carol couldn't handle it and Carol couldn't fix it is what I kind of got out of it. What did you make of it? Ratatouille? Maybe the rat just decided to go out for bigger and better things. But if there's a food supply there, the rat's not just going to leave. But either way, that rat's out of here. And what did you make of it? What did you make of the symbolism? And someone's like, there's no symbolism here. The rat just left. But Carol is inside the pantry. And it reminded me of another interaction in season 5 with Carol. And you could see that the pantry has had better time there before, even before the Saviors. It was so full and loaded up. But this lady, anyone know her name? Bonus points if you know. Let me know in the comments. What is her name right there? But Carol was connected with this lady and the pasta maker. And in season 6, she was taken out in a brutal way. But it was kind of in that area here in the pantry that it just looks so sad now. Before it was loaded up, the Saviors came in and ruined it, and then they probably restocked it over the years. But just being in this pantry reminded me of the interaction with that lady and Carol. Carol fixes the solar panel and the connection, which is pretty cool. And it just shows me that it was working good, and then boom, lost the juice. So, it was just time to be over. Just call it a day. Sometimes we have bad days, and that's all right. But when she freaks out and she starts punching the wall and stabbing the wall, it just reminds me of The Shining, when he chops through the door with the axe and he's like, here's Carol. And it's just perfect framing and cinematography. And then she grabs the knife and starts stabbing it. Like Michael Myers, Halloween kind of vibe with the no light or the low light. Just got that horror vibe to it. And yeah, she's just trying to kill a rat and the frustration boiled over. And it's symbolic of what's happening in Carol and she's just exploding. And sometimes you just got to let it out. I know all about that. If you're on my live stream recently, you know that sometimes you just got to let it out because it gets bottled up and then it explodes and you just don't want to do that. That's for sure. And Dog being Dog, Dog's a good boy. That's for sure. One of the best parts of the episode. And then we see the crock pot slow cooker thing going, the knife that she stabbed the wall up, the Swiss Army knife. And when she's sweeping up, Jerry comes around, right? And I want to say it was a very nice moment because I feel like Jerry is the guy that is going to be there for you. He's a big Care Bear. He's a big guy that's just going to come around and help you. And it was a nice moment, right? I don't know about him quoting Ezekiel to Carol, I'm not sure if Carol and Ezekiel are on the best terms, and maybe she doesn't want to hear it. And she did say, like, can't I just, suffer in peace? He's like, sorry, I care, I'm going to care for you, and that's just the way it's going to be. And that's good, because Carol needs that. Sometimes you need that for that. And when Jerry hugged Carol, it was really nice. But it also reminded me of season 7, episode 2, I believe, when Carol was first meeting Jerry and Ezekiel, and he was giving her food, offering her food, and she turned it down, and now Carol was feeding Jerry with the soup. Carol is fixing the drywall, which I have to say she did a great job so quickly. Maybe they have loose drywall just around, but she's trying to fix things. And that's what I got out of the scarf, the piece of garment there. And is that guy in the back that's blurry, is he wearing a mask? It's a promo photo, so I don't know if it was in the episode, but is he wearing a black mask? Maybe it's a beard mask. But Carol puts on the scarf, which is kind of gross, right? Does she actually clean it? She tries to put it on, and she's like, nah, sorry, it's not gonna work. So she puts it on. She wanted to fix it and clean it because she wanted something to do. And then she gives up. She's like, nope, put it in the rubble, put it in the drywall, put it in the bin to throw out. And she's like, I'm over it. And she's over this day, right? And that's all right. You can be over this day, that's for sure. And we all have bad days, and that's okay. And that's kind of what this episode was, a bad day of Carol. And some people hated it, but Carol sees a bunch of walkers in the field. And she has her bow and arrow. But she takes it off and puts it down. Why didn't you fire an arrow? Maybe no CGI budget here, but she takes out a knife and kills all the walkers with her knife and gets dirty and gross. And Maggie kind of did the same thing. She had a bow and arrow and didn't fire one single shot in season 10, episode 17. Then we see when Carol's killing the walkers, we see insects. Is that a fly or what is that thing there? I can't think of the word, but we see a butterfly. Very nice, kind of transforming from an insect into a nice, beautiful butterfly. But then we also see a spider. And Carol's also carrying around a bright red bucket. And you know how we feel about the red. But we see a spider. And it reminded me of Sadiq seeing a spider in season 10, episode 1, which is crazy to think that was the beginning of this season, but also season 9, episode 1. And I don't know if it's a callback or not. And we know insects and spiders will be out in the woods, but I kind of saw that. So, did you catch these things? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I know some people don't agree with the whole red thing, and I do think Carol is okay with the red lantern and the red bucket, and Jerry had the red wheelbarrow, but does that mean that something big is going to happen bad for these characters in season 11? Not to them directly. What if Nabila is taken out? What if something happens to Lydia or somebody that Carol cares about? Will Carol and Daryl have their relationship repaired early on in season 11, or does it take the whole season? Let me know your thoughts. Post your comments below. Stay safe, and as always, tell them, Daryl.